Walk into any busy bakery and you see operations management in real time. If they bake too much, those extra loaves go stale and profits end up in the dumpster. If they bake too little, the shelves sit empty and customers walk out the door to spend their money somewhere else. Whether it is fresh sourdough, microchips, or steel beams, these goods function as frozen cash. For many companies, this stock ties up an enormous amount of liquidity, often representing 50% of their total invested capital. Operations managers face a punishing financial tightrope. Stripping down inventory levels frees up immediate cash, but running lean increases the chance of stock shortages. One missing part can grind a multi-million-dollar assembly process to a halt or drive buyers to a competitor. Conversely, packing warehouses to the roof guarantees that production lines stay active and customers stay satisfied. But that security comes at a price. The business must pay to store, insure, and move all those goods, trapping capital that could be used for growth. This text outlines the core objective of operations management, striking a precise mathematical balance between inventory investment and customer service levels. Move out of the bakery and into a modern, high-racking industrial warehouse, and the scale of that balancing act expands into thousands of variables. Within these facilities, inventory exists in 4 distinct phases: raw materials waiting for production, work-in-process goods moving down the line, maintenance and operating supplies keeping the facility running, and finished goods waiting to ship. A typical facility might hold thousands of individual part numbers across those 4 categories. Monitoring every single bolt and microchip with the same level of intensity is an inefficient use of labor and time. To solve this, companies use ABC analysis. This method divides the entire inventory into 3 classes based on their annual dollar volume, how much capital each part type moves through the business over a year. The blue bar represents Class A items. This 20% of physical stock accounts for 70% of financial value. On the right, the green Class C bar represents the trivial many, half the items but only 5% of the total value. Grouping parts this way allows managers to concentrate their resources. They apply the tightest physical controls, the best supplier development, and the most frequent forecasting to the high-value Class A items, dictating financial health. Because inventory represents capital, the records detailing what sits in the racks must be precise. Managers cannot make safe ordering decisions if they don't trust the numbers in their database. Routine operations constantly degrade that accuracy. Record totals drift away from reality due to shrinkage, warehouse theft, and simple receiving errors. Historically, correcting those errors required a total facility shutdown. The business would stop operations and lock the doors so employees could physically count every box over a grueling weekend. Today, modern operations rely on cycle counting. Instead of stopping the business once a year, trained auditors conduct a continuous rolling count of small batches every day while the facility remains active. Cycle counting uses ABC analysis to set the pace. A high-value Class A motor might be physically counted every 20 working days. Meanwhile, a Class C bin of standard screws might only be audited once every 6 months. This continuous loop removes the need for disruptive annual shutdowns. Because counting happens daily, it allows managers to identify the root cause of an error, like a faulty scanner or supplier issue, and correct it immediately. Even with accurate records, managers still have to solve for the cost of time. Every extra item stored incurs holding costs, which include facility rent, insurance, and the risk that a product becomes obsolete while sitting on the shelf. Pulling against that is the cost of acquisition. Every time a business places a new order or halts a machine to prepare it for a different product run, they incur setup or ordering costs in the form of fees and labor. This creates a direct conflict. Ordering in massive, rare batches keeps your setup costs low, but it immediately floods the warehouse, driving holding costs through the roof. To find the solution, managers use the Economic Order Quantity, or EOQ model. It is a formula to find the specific order size, bringing the sum of setup and holding costs to its lowest point. By calculating the EOQ, the financial guessing game is replaced with a firm target. It translates abstract cost conflicts into a precise, actionable purchasing plan. Through the systematic application of ABC categorization, cycle counting, and the EOQ model, a warehouse transitions from an unmanaged capital drain into an asset with predictable costs and maximized cash flow. But the limits of this discipline are constantly being pushed. Logisticians began asking, what if a business could tune its supply chains so precisely that it could reduce its stored inventory to almost zero? This line of thinking led to just-in-time systems. Instead of storing vast quantities of parts, components are timed to arrive on the assembly floor at the exact moment they are needed, removing the need for massive storage buffers. Every box sitting in a warehouse represents a calculated risk, a financial variable that ultimately determines how quickly a business can move and whether it can survive the pressure of a modern market.